the terminal. So I'll click on Command plus spacebar. Alternatively, you can just click on the search bar at the top, and then I'll type terminal. And here if I do ls, this will list all the directories under the home directory. Now I want to create a new directory where I'll add all my projects in. So to do that, I'll type mkdir and then projects. If I do ls again, you can see that the projects directory has been created. Now to go into this directory, I can type cd projects, and then now I'm inside the projects directory. Now to create a new Flutter project, you do it by typing Flutter create and then the name of the project. So we'll call it portfolio. And this will create the project for us. Now you can see here that it says in order to run your application, type cd portfolio and then Flutter run. And basically what the Flutter create command did is it created a new directory called portfolio, which contains all our initial Flutter code. Now we can go into it by typing cd portfolio. And now instead of running the Flutter run command, I'll just open this directory in VS Code. To do that, I'll type code dot. Now the dot here references the current directory. So you're saying I want to open the current directory in VS Code. And this command needs to be installed. So if this doesn't work for you, you have to manually open VS Code and then you type command shift P, and then at the top here you can see shell command install code command in path. Now since I've recently used this, it's at the top for me, but if for you it doesn't show up, then just type code or type shell and then it should pop up for you, and then click on install code command in path, and then this command will work for you. Now let's briefly talk about the folder structure of a Flutter application. So here at the top you have the Android folder, and essentially what this contains is all the different Android files, and this will mainly be used for different configuration that you need to add. So if you're familiar with Android development, you can see the build.gradle file. It also has a Android manifest file where you can add different permissions. So for example, if you want to add permissions to use the camera in your application or the internet or something like that, you'll still need to come here and add these configuration items. Same thing with iOS, web, and macOS. So all of these, you can think of them as the platform-specific folders. When we're creating a final build of a particular platform, these folders will essentially have all the code that will allow you to do that. Now, our main Dart or Flutter code will be written inside of the lib directory. And you can see here it starts off with a main.dart file. And this contains the entry point of your application. And you can see here that there is an initial boilerplate application that is built for us. We also have a test directory, and this will contain the tests for your application. And then from the files at the bottom, the main one that you need to look at is the popspec.yaml file. This is similar to the package.json file in Node.js applications. So here it contains things like name, description, version number of your app. You can add dependencies. You can also add dev dependencies. And then here we would need to configure our assets. So for example, if we want to use local images, then we would need to add them here. Here they have these helpful comments for us to use. So for example, it says to add assets to your application, add an assets section like this. So when we're adding images, the format or the style will be like this. We would reference the directory where the image is. Same thing with fonts. If we want to add custom fonts, we will do something like this. Now anything that has a hashtag is a comment, so it's not executable code. So let's add our own custom assets to the application. So there's a link under this video where you can download the assets, and this is what it will look like. So here you have a slide deck, and this will allow you to follow along for this tutorial. So you can see building different parts of the app. And then we also have the assets. So first folder is badges. So these badges I got from Icons 8. And if you want to be able to use these in your application, you need to be able to credit the authors or credit icons 8 essentially. There's also fonts. So here I have this font downloaded. It's called Fira Code, and I got this font from Google Fonts. Next we have images. So I only have a profile picture, and then for you, you can add your own here. Lastly, we have projects, and these are the different projects. So screenshots for our projects. This will be used in the showcase section. Now let's add these to our project. So what we can do is just drag the assets directory directly into the root of our application. And then I'll say copy folder. And you can see here that the assets folder has been added. Now the next thing we need to do is actually configure these assets in the popspec.yaml file so our application will be able to use it. So first thing is let's add the images. So here you can see the images directory. Now we are starting from the root of our application. So for us, everything is under assets. So here we'll say assets. And then assets, we have images. And then rather than specifying the specific image, so for example, profilepic.png, we can just do this. And this will reference all the images under the assets/images folder. Next, we'll do the same thing for our badges and projects. So I'll just do Command-Shift-D to copy it twice, and then I'll add badges and projects. So the Command-Shift-D is a shortcut to copy lines. And if you want to be able to use that, you need to download an extension called Sublime Text Keymap. Next thing is let's configure the font. So here I'm going to uncomment this by clicking on Command plus slash. So it's like this, Command plus slash. And then the family is Fira Code. And where can we actually find this asset? So here if we go to assets, fonts, there is a folder called Fira Code. So I'll go assets / fonts and then Fira Code and then the name of the font. So Fira Code, and then what we have is we have regular, light, medium, semi, bold, and then bold. Now I'm going to remove this and I'm going to do Command-Shift-D. This will copy lines. And then I'll change the regular first to light, next to medium, and then semi-bold, and then lastly bold. And then I'll save.